if you are a beginner to Marvel Rivals, sometimes you might be a little confused on what characters or what heroes you should be learning to use first. Now, in this video, I will be going through my top 5 best characters to use as a beginner on Marvel Rivals. Now, of course, these characters are completely easy. Like, I feel like everyone is easy, but these are just the easiest out of the easy to learn. And after you learn these characters, then you can branch out to some of the more competitive and also some of the harder heroes to use in Marvel Rivals. So we're gonna go ahead and start this list off, but before we start it, I want to ask you, who is your favorite Marvel's hero or villain that is in Marvel Rivals right now? Leave those comments down below, but let's get into this video, all right? So the first name on this list, there's no specific order because I feel like all of them are still on the same level, but the first one that we have to talk about is no other than Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is by far one of the easiest characters to use. She is such a broken character that she doesn't even need to aim to put out damage on opponents. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, her kit isn't super impressive at all, but she still does damage to any and everyone that comes close to her. I do love how Scarlet has the ability to gain high ground with her mystic projection ability. Now, this is my first time really playing games like this, but for games that I used to play, like, you know, battle royales or whatever, to me, positioning is everything, you know, especially if you're trying to apply pressure to an opponent's backline, which I do think Scarlet Witch can excel in. But hold on, wait 1 second. Just when you think Scarlet Witch couldn't be any more broken of a character in this game, she proves us wrong, because in her kit, she also gets the ability to stun her opponents. Now, not only does her ability Dark Seal stun her opponents, but an enemy can be stunned multiple times. That just automatically gives free hits for Scarlet and her team. Now, the last thing I must add is that although Scarlet's ultimate can easily be stopped, I do believe that her ultimate still is very useful if done correctly. So if you kind of hide off before and let her, you know, say her thing, like, you know, it's pure chaos. If you hide off and then pop out of your hiding space right before the ultimate goes off, then you have a higher chance of hitting your ultimate off. But of course, we all know it can be countered by Penny Parkers, by Spider-Man, like anything that could web or, you know, freeze by Luna Snow. Yeah, so just be careful when you use her ultimate, and if you're careful, you'll be able to get it off. On to our second very beginner friendly character on Marvel Rivals, goes out to Moon Knight. Now, I'm not going to lie, Moon Knight has started to become one of my favorites to use, and I mean, this guy is really cracked. Moon Knight is just another super easy to use character on Marvel Rivals, and I mean, his kit kind of gives you everything that you really need. Very similar to Scarlet Witch, Moon Knight also has the ability to not really have to aim too much. Now, this is simply due to all of those unks that you see all around the map. Yeah, they do a lot of damage when he throws those crescent darts. Another really cool thing about Moon Knight is if you're going up against an enemy or an opponent team that is kind of grouped up together, the crescent darts that he throws can actually bounce between enemies and unks, dealing tons more damage to the whole team itself. Something that I will just never understand is I just don't know why people leave Moon Knight unks just laying around. Like, honestly, if you want to counter a Moon Knight, you have to take them out as soon as you see them. But yeah, just a free tip out there. Destroy the unks if they're not yours. On top of dishing out some serious damage and easily thinning out an opponent's team, Moon Knight also has one of the best ultimates in Marvel Rivals. Not only does Moon Knight's ultimate almost fall down instantly, but it's super tough for a backline strategist to escape from. So if you're out there and you're looking for a DPS character that can give you damage and really help your team win, then learn how to use Moon Knight, all right? So now we are off to our third character that we need to discuss, and I feel that this character might be one of the most broken characters that no one knows about yet, all right? So after having to face her in so many lobbies, I mean, all through gold, plat, like, it's insane. But this character that we have to bring to this list is no other than Squirrel Girl. Now, Squirrel Girl has a pretty straightforward kit that might be a lot more broken than people think. In my opinion, Squirrel Girl is definitely one of the best characters in this list that you can use, just simply due to the fact that she can really give so much damage to an opponent team, all right? So when she puts out all of this damage, I mean, it's hard to escape from. It's even scarier to say this and then to also say that when you're doing all this damage, it takes little to no effort. When Squirrel Girl shoots out her acorns, they actually explode and deals tons of damage to anything around these mini explosions. So yes, this is in fact another hero in Marvel Rivals that is really good with crowd control. The more that an opponent team decides to stack up, the more effective Squirrel Girl becomes. Squirrel Girl really had to make this list just simply due to the fact that you never really have to hit anyone directly with these acorns, which is insane. And it's very difficult as an opponent to move forward if there's a whole bunch of explosive acorns just popping like popcorn around your feet. I'm sure many of us can agree that Squirrel Girl is possibly one of the most annoying characters to go against, especially because she gets even better in certain situations. The one thing that drives people insane about this character is the fact that her ultimate is literally unstoppable when in a close or a tight space. Now, if you've ever had to play against a opponent Squirrel Girl, you know how dominant her ultimate can be down hallways or down certain choke points. It is almost unbearable, okay? Like those squirrel stampedes, they bounce off walls, they hit you multiple times, and it is a super deadly ultimate, especially in tight spaces. Just keep in mind that Squirrel Girl is a powerful character, but I do think she excels a little bit more when it comes to range fights and also crowd control. So just keep that in the back of your head. You'll be okay. But other than that, the kit is super easy to learn and it can really dish out some serious damage and thin an opponent team. Now that we're done with those, we have another one on this list that might just be the fan favorite, especially as a beginner. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was definitely my first hero that I used when I started playing the game, and that is no other than Punisher. Punisher is easily one of my favorite duelists simply due to his big boy machinery. Having a turret every few seconds is super toxic and is just tons of fun. I do feel that playing with the Punisher is super easy to learn as long as you just don't stand still, okay? There's a lot of kind of bottish players out there. Yes, you guys might be beginners, but just don't stand still because you then become an easier target to hit yourself. So just, if you're playing Punisher, move a little bit, you know, and get your free shots in because you can still do a lot of damage when using Punisher. I can honestly say that Punisher is by far one of my favorites to use when it comes to having to counter an airborne opponent. Something like an Iron Man or a Storm. I just found it so much easier to knock them out of the sky when I am the Punisher. I do feel like a lot of people that play Marvel Rivals know this already, but if you're a beginner, I gotta let you know that the Punisher has two weapons to swap between, all right? He has a rifle that makes it easier to melt opponents from range, but he also has a shotgun that is completely dominant, okay? It completely just wipes out tanks when up close and personal. The one con that I have about using the Punisher, it just makes me so upset, is that the Punisher definitely lacks insane mobility, okay? So this makes it easier for divers or like, you know, Spider-Man mains or Black Panther mains, Wolverines, like it makes it easier for them to come and just wipe you out. All right, so just not being able to move and get out of dangerous situations is enough to just give you a warning that yes, the Punisher might be cool and might be able to dish out tons of damage, but depending on your team, if you're a sitting duck, you will feel it. Other than that, I really don't have too many complaints about using the Punisher. Of course, one of my favorite things about the Punisher is his ultimate, all right? That final judgment, when you hear it, you have to run and hide, or you have to find out a way to counter it, because when the Punisher uses his ult, it means nothing but pure destruction. And I love it, okay? Only if it's me or if he's on my team. I love it, all right? So the Punisher's ultimate alone is really fun. It's really fun. Now, if you don't know what the Punisher's ultimate is because you are just that new to the game, then you pretty much get two large turrets that are hooked to your arms, and you also have automatic missiles coming from behind you to an opponent. So you can easily melt anyone that steps in the way of your ultimate. So out of all of the characters that I will be discussing in this video and all the characters that we've already discussed in this video, I do think you have to have the most or the best aim with the Punisher, okay? You gotta aim, but the good thing is there is really no recoil. You don't have to literally learn the recoil patterns or nothing like that, but you do have to have a little bit of aim, and I do think that you can easily get 30 to 40 eliminations a game if you are using Punisher correctly. So now it is time for our final character on this list, and I'm excited because this is one of the healers or one of the strategists that I main, and we've already hit Lord with her, and I mean, she's really good, especially in the hands of a beginner. So I really had to put her on the list because not a lot of people choose strategists, so I don't think you really have to argue or fight with being a strategist. A lot of people use DPS, and unfortunately all those other characters were DPS, but I have to give you a strategist here. So the strategist that is on this list is no other than Invisible Woman. Now I have to put it out there, Invisible Woman might just be the toughest character to learn in this list, but when you have it down packed and everything is moving, she can be super effective for your team. Invisible Woman is tons of fun due to her ability to heal and also deal damage at the same time, all right? So Invisible Woman, you'll see her throwing an orb. You can literally throw this orb through your teammates to heal them while damaging the opponent that is fighting that teammate. So when it comes to just healing your tanks or healing your DPS characters, you can still get your damage while also getting your heals and making sure your team is on top. Now, just like any other character on this list, I do feel that positioning and angles are super important, but it might be just a tad bit more important for using Invisible Woman because you still want to get the best and the most value from this character. So the only way you can do that is by angling yourself to not only deal damage, but heal at the same time every single time. Invisible Woman has a simple kit, but I do think you should know this, okay? So in her kit, she can assign a shield to a teammate that not only blocks incoming damage, but it also provides healing over time. Another really cool thing about this shield is that if an enemy walks through it, then the enemy will be slowed down, giving Invisible Woman and also her teammates a small advantage and some free damage. But of course, the most impressive part of Invisible Woman's kit, in my opinion, will always be her ultimate. Her ultimate is the perfect counter to a few of your opponent's ultimates and it can really save the game for your teammates. Not only does this ultimate heal your team, but it also makes your team invisible to outside threats when they're inside this little, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a force field there. Now, the cool thing is, if an enemy is inside of this force field or this ultimate, their movement is severely slowed. So it definitely just gives an advantage, and it easily helps you out heal incoming damage. So I do think that Invisible Woman is possibly a top pick, if not an insta lock for anybody that is a beginner that would like to get better at the game quickly. So these are my top 5 characters that I would recommend you guys use if you guys are complete beginners. We have a couple tier lists over here. I can show you the tier list video right after this one, but check out the tier list and you'll see where we tier and where we rank all of the strategists in Marvel Rivals. So let me know, okay? Let me know if there is somebody that should have been on this list. Let me know down below in the comments, because there are a lot of good characters in this game. It just depends on the situation and your teammates and what they decide to bring out when you're using that character. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like on this one and make sure to comment something, man. Make sure to comment something, help your boy grow, and it also allows the video to go into the algorithm, helping other beginners, because I know some of these solo queue events that we be doing, like it's hard. It's hard. Nobody knows who to use. Nobody knows who to be good with. It's still a brand new game. So I just wanted to make this video to at least help and guide people to a safer or a more fun direction, okay? So use these characters to the best of your ability, and you'll learn the game and you'll just become even better at Marvel Rivals. But thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.